Hello everyone, this is Mark back from the cooler, and you may wonder why I call it the cooler. It's because my wife has control of the thermostat, and it's always cool in here. So anyway, this is Operation Frostbite. Japan turned 9, July 1940. This turn the Japanese have 34 to spend. They are purchasing one strategic bomber for 12, two SNLF infantry for 10, and four regular infantry for 12, spending the entirety of their 34 that they had to spend. Now I'll roll around the other side of the board and do my research rolls. Be right back. All right, this turn the Japanese will be researching long-range aircraft and improved factories. First up, long-range aircraft. 10. That's going to be a success. That will move long-range aircraft to the final stage, so it's good. Now we're going to roll for improved factories. And that's a 3. That's going to be a big fail on improved factories. But we did get long-range aircraft, so 1 out of 2 is not awful. Okay, to start off the combat move, this time around we're going to be moving this strategic bomber, if I don't destroy everything that's set up there, from Rihe, moving it 1, 2 into Shinsi, and carpet bombing Shinsi. That's 3 dice at 2 or less. And we got 1 hit, which that is pretty darn good to get 1 hit on that. And I am absolutely sure that a militia is what he would want to lose first. So we'll get one of those militia out of there. That leaves him with 1, 2, 3 militia, 3 cavalry, 4 mountain infantry in Shinsi. So now we'll move on to the next phase of the combat moves. Okay, next up, we have the 2 light tanks right here. From, where are they from? Suyan will be moving into Shinsi along with the 2 artillery, 1 marine, and 1 infantry. That's all the units that are in this zone right here will be moving into there. Also, we'll be moving the 2 artillery and 3 infantry from Szechuan down. That's this one right down here. Be moving them up into there. 3 fighters and 2 tacticals from Peking will be flying across. The 1 fighter from C-Zone 54 and 1 tactical from C-Zone 54 that are on the fleet carrier out here will be coming in. 1, 2, 3. I had that figured out where I could get there and get them back a while ago. Get some of the stuff moved out of the way, maybe I can see. There it was. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the page. 1 fighter from Rihe up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll have plenty of room to get back. And the fighter from Kwangtung down here. 1, 2, 3. And he actually can go 5 now since I got long-range aircraft. So he will probably, I'm planning on flying him back to Yunnan when we're all done. It'll be 4, 5. And that will conclude the combat moves, other than the 1 infantry that I am moving out of Yunnan to walk into Tibet. It's not worth anything, but it'll be someplace else the Chinese can't put something. So, got the walk-in taken care of. I'll put a roundel on there here in a minute. I'll get all those other units set up on the board and roll it out. All right, that is a mountainous territory. I put die next to each of the planes to denote how many movement points they will have left when they get done with the battle. I have adjusted everything for the mountain territory. I've got 4 artillery involved, so 4 units have been bumped up. And I've got 1 infantry firing at a 1. I've got 3 infantry and a marine at a 2. 4 artillery at 2. 2 light tanks at 3. And then all my aircraft operating normally against 3 militia and 3 cavalry that will defend at a 2, 2 infantry defending at a 4, and 3 mountain infantry defending at a 5. So I will roll that out. Infantry at a 1. And that's a miss. Big 12. And let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4 first strike artillery at 2 or less. 10, 8, 7, 7. All misses. For the artillery. Now for the 1 marine and 3 infantry at 2 or less. Looks like we got 1 hit. 1 hit out of that. 2 tanks. 2 light tanks at 3 or less. 1 hit from the tanks. And now we move on to aircraft. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fighters at 6 or less. 6 fighters at 6 or less. Got 6 die here. We'll roll them all at once. 2 hits. The fighters got 2 hits. Alright. And we have 1, 2, 3. 3 tacticals at 7 or less. So we'll roll for the tacticals. 2 hits from the tacticals and 1 miss. So have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. He's got 3 militia left. And 3 cavalry, so I'm going to assume those are the ones that he will take off the board. They'll get their roll back at 2 or less, and that's 6 units. So let me get those rolled for defense. 6 die here. And 2 hits. 2 hits. So I'll take off a couple of infantry. And 2 at 4 or less. Get them all out of the way. 2 at 4 or less. 7 and 11, both of those are misses. And 1, 2, 3 at 5 or less. 1 hit. So I'll lose another infantry. Get the casualties off the board here. All the casualties off the board. And I will roll to attack once again. This time, 1 infantry and 1 marine. 1 infantry and 1 marine at 2 or less. Both of those miss. Got 4 artillery at 2 or less. Got 1 hit out of that. Two light tanks at 3 or less. Both misses. Six fighters at 6 or less. 1 hit. 1 hit from the fighters. I'm not happy with the way my fighters have been rolling. And we've got 3 tacticals at 7 or less. 3 tacticals at 7 or less. 2 hits. Got a 5, a 2, and a 9. So 2 hits from the tacticals. I'll take off 4 units. Let's see here. Undoubtedly, 2 Marines, or the 2 infantry will be the first to go. And 2 mountains. Drop them back. Now, 2 defending at a 4 less. 7 and a 5. So those are both misses. And 3 mountain infantry at 5 or less. 1 hit. So I will take off an infantry. Just because that seems like the thing to do. I'll get the casualties moved off the board. And we will roll this one more time. Hopefully one more time will be enough. Okay. One Marine and 4 artillery are all at 2 or less. First strike's out of the way, so 5 die at 2 or less. No hits. No hits at all. 2 tanks at 3 or less. 8 and an 8. Both misses. Now we'll go back to these 6 fighters at 6 or less. Well, we did get 3 hits with the fighters this time. Finally broke even on that. And we have 3 tacticals at 7 or less. And only one of the tacticals hit. It was a target select that time. And there's only 1 unit left to defend, so 4 hits on 1 unit. And I will roll for the defense of that mountain infantry at a 5 or less. And he got a 3. So I'm going to take off a Marine. Take off the mountain infantry. So now in that zone right there, I will have 4 artillery, 2 light tanks, and then I'll have to fly my airplanes back to where they belong. And I'll be back with you as soon as I get that taken care of. I may wait to do the airplanes till I get back with you. Okay, there you can see we have 2 light tanks and 4 artillery. They're in Shinsi. That was worth 2 to the CCP. So I will move the CCP down to 0 and move the Japanese up 2. CCP down to 0. Japanese up 2 to 35. Okay, this fighter that just had 2 movements left, I believe he came from down south there at Quang Kung. He is going to go using his last 2 movements. Get it where you can see it. 1, 2, and land there in Yunnan. The fighters and the 2 tacticals that came from Peking are going back to Peking. They've got 3 movement and plenty of room to get there. 1, 2. I've got plenty of room to knock everything down. So that group of planes moved back to Peking. That was 2 tacticals and 3 fighters. Fighter from Rihe will go back to Rihe. He had plenty of movement to do that. And the tactical and the fighter from the fleet out here, they had 3 movements left, so they can go 1, 2, and be back out there on the fleet. So it's the fleet's in that sea zone. I'll put them back on that carrier on that card right there, which is sitting in sea zone 54. Now for non-combat movements, I've got 1 Marine and 2 SNLFs that are in Quichao presently. That's right here. They're going to walk into Yunnan. And be there. That's a total of 2 Marines, 3 SNLFs, an infantry, and a fighter in Yunnan now. Got 2 mountain infantry and 2 Marines in Rihe. Up here. 2 mountain infantry and 2 Marines in Rihe. They're going to go into Suyan. Just one step right over there. And 2 SNLFs and 3 infantry. They're in Kyushu. Right down there. They're going to use transports off that card, which is in sea zone 54. Transports will move over 1 and move back to sea zone 54 and get drops off in Rihe. So that's 3 infantry and 2 SNLFs to go along with the crowd there in Rihe. It's hard to hold the phone and move units at the same time sometimes. Just throwing that out there. And that strategic bomber is the one that flew back to Rihe after carpet bombing a while ago. Okay. Now, I will place units and collect income. Be right back when I go and get my units from the other side of the table. All right, the strategic bomber that is in Rihe, that's where I'm going to place my strategic bomber that I built at that factory in Rihe. I'm just going to chip him out because those big bombers take up a lot of space. And next I have 2 SNLFs and 3 infantry that I'm going to place in Kyushu. There's 3 infantry and 2 SNLFs at that factory there. And the lone remaining infantry, I believe I'm going to place at Tokyo. No sense in leaving Tokyo naked. Okay, that is it. I will collect 35 for the Japanese that I will have to spend next turn. Unless there was any problems with the math, which somebody will let me know if there was, I'm sure. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I will pass this on to Ozark Outpost and the Commonwealth, and I hope you all have a great day.